On average, roughly 2 future Hall of Famers enter the NBA every year. So it's rare for a franchise to draft a Hall of Famer, and it's almost impossible to select 2 future Hall of Famers in 2 consecutive drafts. But then there's the Oklahoma City Thunder, who drafted 3 future Hall of Famers in a row from 2007 to 2009. Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden. All 3 have won MVPs, scored over 880,000 points combined, earned 9 scoring titles, and accumulated 27 A&L-NBA selections. They were expected to dominate the league for years and build a dynasty, but just before they all entered their prime, the Thunder decided to break.
U.S. District Judge Marsha Peckman was expected to issue her decision about whether the Sonics would have to stay in Seattle for 2 more years. Then exactly 1 hour later, the news was made public.
The NBA will be in Oklahoma City next season, playing their games.
Apart their big 3. This is the story of a trade that derailed a dynasty and the greatest team that never was. In 2008, the Seattle Supersonics relocated to Oklahoma City and became the Thunder. Apart from inheriting Seattle's history and their 1979 championship banner, they also inherited their future. When Oklahoma got its NBA franchise, that package included Kevin Durant, who dominantly won the 2007 Rookie of the Year. The Thunder also held the number 4 pick in the 2008 draft, which they used to select Russell Westbrook out of UCLA.
With the 3rd pick in the 2009 NBA draft, the Oklahoma City Thunder select James Harden of Arizona State University.
LA. In their first season together, Russ and KD had excellent individual seasons, but the team struggled, finishing with a 23-59 record. However, that secured the Thunder another high draft pick. Nobody knew it then, but that marked the greatest 3-year stretch in draft history. In 2008, OKC also selected premier defensive player Serge Ibaka, who joined the team in 2009 after completing 1 season in Europe. With their core 4 players, a defensive specialist in Thabo Sefolosha and athletic swingman Jeff Greenlaw, Thunder had the most athletic team in the NBA and finished the 2010 season with 50 wins. KD won his first scoring title with 30 points per game and finished second in MVP voting behind LeBron James. But in the playoffs, KC proved too inexperienced and lost to the eventual champion LA Lakers in 6 games. With more experience and continuity, in 2011, Thunder improved again. KD averaged 27.7 points per game and won another scoring title. Westbrook averaged 22 points and 8 assists, earning his first All-Star Game selection. Harden scored 12 points off the bench and was considered for 6th Man of the Year, while Ibaka patrolled the paint with 4 blocks per game. Midway through the season, OKC...
Like I said, when I used to have to walk in the cafeteria and I had them high water pants on because I couldn't afford the long jeans, I had to be ready to clap back and people used to make fun of me.
Traded their 3rd leading scorer Jeff Green and brought in Kendrick Perkins from the Celtics. Today, most fans associate Perk with wild takes on ESPN, but back in 2011, he was one of the best post defenders in the NBA. OKC traded for him to battle Pau Gasol and Andrew Bynum, who had destroyed them in the 2010 playoffs. The Thunder won 55 games in the regular season, the best result for the franchise since the 90s era of Shawn Kemp and Gary Payton. In the first round of the playoffs, OKC cruised past...
Me and him been banging a lot. Sometimes we ain't in the play, but sometimes we locking up each other.
I hear you. The Nuggets in 5 games, with Durant scoring 32 points per game. In the second round against the Grizzlies, the Perkins trade showed its worth battling the tough Memphis frontline of Marc Gasol and Zach Randolph. Russ and KD averaged a combined 50 points per game in the series, and the Thunder advanced in 7 games. In the conference finals, the young and athletic Thunder were favorites against the aging Dallas Mavericks. But nobody could stop Dirk Nowitzki during his incredible 2011 title run. Dirk averaged 32 points per game with his unstoppable one-legged fadeaway, and OKC lost in 5 games. In the offseason, the Thunder added Reggie Jackson and veteran Derek Fisher to bolster their point guard depth. More importantly, they gave Kendrick Perkins a 4-year, $32 million contract. At the time, it seemed like a no-brainer to extend. A newly acquired player who was one of the best defensive centers in the league. However, This contract would soon haunt the Thunder. When the 2012 season started, Casey was deep at every position, and their young stars were no longer inexperienced. KD was entering his prime, winning another scoring title with 28 points per game. Beyond scoring, his numbers improved across the board, including career highs in rebounds, assists, blocks, and field goal percentage. Durant was widely considered the second
to Bynum. Shot clock at 2. Bynum blocked by Ibaka. Ebanks blocked again by Ibaka.
best player in the league behind LeBron, and once again finished behind James in MVP voting. Westbrook averaged a career-high 23.6 points per game and also received MVP votes. Ibaka averaged 3.7 blocks per game, leading the NBA, and finished second in Defensive Player of the Year voting. But the biggest improvement came from James Harden in his third season. Harden averaged 16.8 points, 4.1 rebounds, and 3.7 assists in 31 minutes off the bench. His 49% field goal and 39% three-point shooting percentages were career highs, and no bench unit was capable of slowing him down. Harden ran away with the Sixth Man of the Year award almost unanimously. With their four young stars all having career years and staying healthy, the Thunder finished with the second-best record in the West and the second-best offensive rating in the NBA. OKC avenged their previous first-round loss too, by sweeping the Mavericks with a combined 65 points per game from KD, Russ, and Harden. In the second round, their big three averaged 67 points. The Thunder easily got past Kobe and the Lakers in 5 games.
They just seemed locked in. They seemed focused. They were like sharks in blood-infested waters. They smelled blood.
Then, in the conference finals against the San Antonio Spurs, it was KD's show. Durant averaged 37 points and 5 rebounds, with nearly 2 steals and 5 blocks per game, shooting 53% from the field. Harden and Westbrook each averaged 18 points, and that kind of firepower was too much for the Spurs. As OKC won the series in 6 games, advancing to the NBA Finals, and there awaited the toughest possible opponent, LeBron James and the Miami Heat. In Game 1, KD continued his stellar shooting, making 60% of his shots for 36 points, 8 rebounds, and 4 assists. Westbrook added 27 points, 8 rebounds, and 11 assists. And the Thunder struck the first blow convincingly, winning Game 1. Game 2 became the most controversial of the series. With OKC down by 2 on the final possession, Durant had the ball on the left wing, guarded by LeBron James, while there was definitely contact before KD released the ball. The referees didn't blow the whistle. And Miami escaped with a win despite 80 points from the Thunder's big three, Games 3 and 4 were extremely close, but Miami showed cooler heads in the clutch and won both games by 6 points. Although KD and Russ did their part, especially Westbrook in Game 4 when he scored 43 points, the Thunder were missing a key contribution from Sixth Man of the Year Harden, who shot 2 for 10 from the field in both games in Miami. Then, in Game 5, Mike Miller had the game of his career, hitting 7 threes, and the game turned into a blowout. Miller and LeBron finally won the title.
They didn't want to give Harden the max. Their position was everyone who's re-signed here has sacrificed a little something, even Durant, even Russell Westbrook, so they were looking for Harden to be willing to take a little less than the max.
KD had to settle for second best once again. Durant led all scorers in the finals, averaging 30 points per game on 55% shooting. Westbrook averaged 27 points and 6 assists, while Harden managed only 12 points per game on 37% shooting and 31% from 3. Despite swallowing this bitter pill, OKC's 4 best players were all under 24 years old, and plenty of chances to return to the finals lay ahead. However, on October 27, 2012, just 3 days before the season started, the Thunder traded James Harden, sending him to Houston in exchange for Kevin Martin, Jeremy Lamb, and 2 first-round picks. Some believed OKC made a smart move because Harden had a poor finals performance, and Kevin Martin was a proven scorer who had averaged 22 points per game over the previous 5 seasons. Still, the general consensus was that Houston robbed OKC and that the Thunder received only 40 cents on the dollar. In truth, OKC actually received far less than anyone expected, and it became one of the worst trades in NBA history. Why did the Thunder trade Harden and break up their young core? There were multiple reasons, but the biggest and most important was money. In August 2012, 2 months after the finals, OKC gave Serge Ibaka a 4-year, $48 million extension. Given that Durant and Westbrook had already signed max contracts, and with new deals for Perkins and Ibaka, OKC was running out of money to pay Harden. Back then, the salary cap was capped at just $58 million, with the luxury tax set at $70 million. Any team whose salary exceeded $70 million would pay $1 extra for every dollar over the tax threshold, meaning a team with $80 million in player salaries would end up paying $90 million in today's NBA. This might seem like pocket change, especially considering that in 2025, Suns owner Matt Ishbia will pay over $400 million in player salaries plus luxury tax. But in 2012, team revenues weren't nearly as large, especially for small market teams like OKC, who received only a small share of local marketing and TV revenue, much less than big franchises like the Knicks or Lakers. With the introduction of the repeater tax for the 2013 to 2014 season, the tax rate would increase drastically for every $5 million over the threshold, costing teams much more than ever before. OKC management was concerned about becoming a consistent luxury tax-paying team, believing the salary cap wouldn't rise significantly, a huge mistake in hindsight. With all this in mind, the Thunder first offered Harden a 4-year, $52 million extension, which Harden refused because he wanted a full $60 million max deal. OKC then increased the offer to $56 million, which further offended Harden, who considered himself a max player and, rightly so, not willing to pay Harden the full max, which would have cost OKC $4 million more. The Thunder decided to trade the Bearda decision wrong on so many levels. First of all, Harden still had 1 year left on his rookie contract, meaning OKC didn't have to do anything. They could have let Harden play out the 2012 to 2013 season for $5.8 million. And if another team offered him a max contract in 2013, KC would have had the right to match and keep Harden. By doing nothing, they could have kept their big three and possibly won the title in 2013. They also could have used the amnesty clause on either Nick Collison or Kendrick Perkins in 2012 or 2013 to free up salary cap space. If the Thunder had given Harden the full $60 million he wanted, they would have kept him under contract until 2017, when the salary cap rose to $94 million and the luxury tax stood at $13 million. Harden's contract would have been the biggest bargain in the NBA, but OKC completely misjudged the incredible rise in NBA revenue and the huge spike in the salary cap. When the 2012 to 2013 season started, Harden immediately showed the Thunder what kind of mistake they had made. In his first game as a Rocket, Harden scored 37 points with 6 rebounds, 12 assists, and 4 steals. In his second game, he was even better, scoring 45 points and setting the NBA record for most points in the first 2 games with a new team. Harden averaged 26 points, 5 rebounds, and 6 assists in his first year in Houston, showing incredible offensive versatility and the ability to run an entire offense basically by himself. When Harden played with KD and Russ, his offensive talent was somewhat tamed as a third option. The NBA was still running old-school offensive sets with 2 traditional big men in the paint.
You went to sleep hungry? You sacrificed for us? You the real MVP.